Nature in city has been shown to have many positive effects on humans. Unfortunately, the biodiversity in cities is decreasing. In our project, we would like to work on increasing biodiversity in cities. We argue that in order to do so, you have to activate architecture, because architecture is responsible for most of the built environment in the cities. In our project, we work on how architecture can include in the work not just humans as a stakeholder, but also other organisms such as animals, plants, or even microbiota. We call this multi-species design, and we analyze how multi-species design differs from current architectural design. We propose that the first step in developing new types of building is to modify the facade of a building, making an ecological envelope, or as we say, an ECOLOPE. Such an ECOLOPE will be a sphere where humans can meet animals, plants and microbes, and it will enhance human-nature interactions in cities.
Yeah, over the last years we have started building our first prototype of a working model in which we actually simulate plants, animals and the soil component, which is all changing over time and spatially distributed on a site. And this whole thing is integrated into the architecture workflow so that it is working within our whole ECOLOPES computational workflow. Yeah, this is essentially our biggest challenge over the next time, is to prioritize and to make all that happen. And the other aspect is the actual technical integration of our model, that it works stable in this computational environment.
In ECOLOPES we participate as a consortium member, and our role in the project is to develop the ECOLOPES computational platform. Therefore we developed a computational workflow, and one key element or key component in that workflow is the ecological model. So we try to bring that model into the urban context. That's why we connected with a CAD system, and we try to integrate this ecological model in a CAD system which doesn't exist yet. And actually this is something we already achieved after 2 years. We have integrated the ecological model so architects and designers can analyze their design using this ecological model. Another thing we achieved so far is that we started to set up a knowledge generation framework. And the knowledge generation framework, basically the main idea is to find the correlations between form and ecological performance. So we basically connect 3D shapes or 3D form aspects of that, run the ecological model on top of that to better understand how this shape has to change to respond to the requirements that the plants and animals and microbiota have, which is the main goal, that we create a tool that is actually makes sense to use for design decision support in urban planning and landscape architecture, but also in architecture.
Particular challenges in working on the ontology-aided computational generative design process, but also in terms of the overall project in ECOLOPES, is on the one hand to make meaningful relations between different domains of knowledge, for instance architecture and ecology, and to embed that into a framework of tools that the designer can work with. And at the same time we need to accomplish the difficult balance between radical innovation on the one hand and robust use of everyday practice-based designers and planners in terms of the tools and the processes.
The primary objective for us is to generate optimized design alternatives that are informed by ECOLOPE KPIs and that are ranked based on performance priorities. For this, we have developed already a strategy to identify priorities for potential ECOLOPE KPIs. We call this the nested set strategy. And we're able to connect descriptive objectives to explicit quantifiable KPIs, which was a big challenge at the beginning of the project. For the optimization process, we have developed a hybrid multi-criteria decision-making workflow, which is able to generate design iterations and also rank them. And now that we have validated our MCDM workflow and the algorithms on generic case study, and identified also an initial list of ECOLOPE KPIs, our next challenge is to define a set of site-specific experiments to test the optimized design alternatives and their contextualization.
I will tell you about the workflow that we conceptualized for ECOLOPES, how the user will be able to address different stakeholders in their design ideas. These are humans, but also plants and animals and microbiota. And the user workflow makes it possible to think about the needs also of plants, animals and microbiota, and to address them in architectural design. This is absolutely new. Architecture was not dealing with this issue before that, and so we had to conceptualize a way of how the knowledge about the needs of the stakeholders can be integrated in the architectural design.
Now we are in the middle of the project and we are starting defining the methodology for the validation of the ECOLOPES process. In particular, we are focusing on the ECOLOPES design process and on the ECOLOPES design outcome. And the main challenges are related to the identification of specific targets to define what an ECOLOPE is, and at the same time, the identification of specific stakeholders for the validation.
For me, ECOLOPE is inclusive, inspiring and future-oriented.
Forward-thinking, novel and necessary.
Interdisciplinary and breathtaking in some kind of way, and innovative.
Challenging, novel and cooperative.
Complex, multidisciplinary and innovative.
Sustainable, multidisciplinary and groundbreaking.
Game-changing, ecologically sound, holistic.
Exciting, edgy and very challenging. Does it count as one?
Systematic, it's inclusive, and most of all, it's exciting.
Welcoming, encouraging, captivating.
Interdisciplinary, interconnected and innovative.